Hello everyone. In this session, let us understand what's new in Java 10, the Java 10 release which we got in mid 2018. What's new in that is what we are going to see in the videos in this particular section. Now, so far, whatever concepts we have seen, those are the basic concepts of Java programming, which is common in Java 8, 9, 10, and whatever new versions of Java will come. Those are the baseline concepts which will be common. Now, in this particular section, we are going to see what's new in Java 10. The biggest change is how do we declare the variables. In Java so far we have seen to declare a variable, we have to first add the reference type. Say I want to declare an integer. So I will first write integer and then I'll give it some name, say num1, then I will add the value. Now in Java 10, you can still do it in this way, but a new way is introduced is var keyword. You can use a var keyword and say num2 and add the value. Both ways are fine. Depending on the value that is added, Java will decide the reference type of the variable, the type of the variable basically. So for example, to declare a string, we can simply say var, give it some name, and then add the value. Now this str1 will be treated as a string variable. Or to declare a double, you can simply say var num3 and add the value. Depending on the value, it will find out what is the data type of the variable. So you no need to declare anymore. You can still use the old way, that's fine, but this is a new way. It's a choice. If you want to use var, you can do that. Now, not only for variable declaration, var can be used for objects also. So far, to create the object of any class, first we declare the variable with the reference type, say for example scanner. If you want to create the object of scanner class, then first I will declare it with the scanner reference, say s1 is equal to new scanner, and then add the constructor, and we need to import the scanner, that is fine. But now you can simply say var, say s2 is equal to, and then call the constructor. Now this s1 and s2 are there very same. Depending upon the value type, Java will decide that s2 is object of a scanner class. Now it's a choice. You can either declare it with a reference type or you can just declare it with var. And all that you do with s1, same thing that you can do it with s2 also. You can see all the methods that you can use. So to declare the primitive data types or to declare the objects of a class, you can use this var keyword. Now let's create a method over here, say public static int and add, and it's going to add int a comma int b and simply return a plus b. Now in this case, to call this method, if I want to do it in the old-fashioned way, I will do int x is equal to add, say 500 comma 600, and when we execute the code, the addition of 500 and 600 will be returned to this variable x over here. But the same thing can be done now using var. So if I say var y is equal to add, say 100 comma 200, now this is also fine, and the value as an integer value will be returned to this variable y, and then y will be treated as an integer variable. But there is a little confusion now. When you read this particular line, you don't have any way to know the data type of y until you go to the method and see the return type. So for example, let us say this method is somewhere in other class. So to know the type of y, what type of data y holds, we need to go to that particular class, see that method and see the return type, and then at that point of time you will come to know that it is an integer. So that's one of the limitations, or I would say one of the drawbacks of using var everywhere. So we can still pick and choose when to use the reference type or when to use just var. Now let us see when we cannot use a var. So for example, for declaring an array, we use something like say int arr is equal to new int and open close brackets and then the size of the array. Same thing we can do it by using say var and arr2 is equal to new int size 10, which is fine. Now in this case, by looking at the value type, Java will decide that error2 is an array, but we can directly add the values like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, for example. Now this kind of array we cannot declare it with var, like at the time of declaring, when you add the initial assignment to the array, you cannot do it with only var variable. So if you try to do it, it will throw the error. So this is one of the things. If you want to declare an array with the initial assignment, you have to declare the array with the reference type. So over here, if you take the cursor, the error is array initializer needs an explicit target type. So you have to specify what does it hold, integer or what, and then you can use the initial assignment. So this is one thing where you cannot use var when you are creating an array and adding the values right away. Then you have to still use the old way, or just create an array without any data and then add values later on. That's another thing. Now what else where you cannot use the var keyword? You cannot use var keyword to create the variable at class level. So for example, I want to create string str6. At this time you cannot say var str7, for example. No, it's not allowed. So var keyword is not allowed at class level. It'll say var is not allowed here. To create a class level field, you cannot use var. You have to specify the reference type over there. That is another limitation. Other than that, to create the variables inside a method level variables, you can do it by using var. Can you use var at the argument level for the parameters? No. Still, for the parameters, you need to specify the data type. Okay, so where you cannot use var, one thing is to declare an array and add the values right away. In such case, you cannot use var. To declare the class level fields, you cannot use var. And in the argument, when you create arguments for a method, over there also you have to specify the reference type, the data type of the variables. Over there also you cannot use var. So 3 things. Other than that, pretty much everywhere you can use var keyword. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll talk about more changes, updates in Java 10 in the upcoming videos. Thank you.